So I would say our biggest money mistake was thinking you can pay somebody else to do the work that you just need to do yourself sometimes when you start up, especially when you don't have a whole lot of money to play with. Sometimes when you're starting out, you have to be that person that does every part of your business. Not only
Welcome, everybody, back to another exciting show of the About That Wallet podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Weaver, and here at the About That Wallet podcast, we're talking about helping you build strong financial behaviors. And today's guest I have to welcome because they are doing something awesome out there in Pennsylvania and creating a full virtual reality experience. And their name is Art and Lonnie from the HoloDec. How you guys doing today?
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So can you just give us a quick background idea of like what is the HoloDec and how can people actually get in touch with you all to have that full experience?
Sure. The HoloDec is a 3,000 square feet location. We're in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the old Kensington section of the city. You can follow us at the HoloDec or theholodeck.com. And when you come here, it's a fully immersive virtual reality experience. We have a number of different types of experiences. We have stand-up stations that are kind of like, I simulate them to boxing rings, where you put the headset on, you can run, jump, dodge, box, fight while you physically walk around. We were one of the first in the country to have a chair called the Roto VR chair. And that's a chair that when you put the headset on, you sit in the chair and it helps immerse you into the experience. If you turn your head left, right, up, down, the chair turns around, vibrates, and rotates to put you inside that experience. Then we also have your traditional console games, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Switch. And then we also have a high-tech computer gaming section if you're into Esports or high-powered computer games. So we're good for birthday parties, bar mitzvahs, corporate team building events. Yeah, whatever you need. Anything that your creativity can think of, you can come down here and do it. Most recently, there's a lot of talk about the metaverse. You can come down here and interact in the metaverse and the virtual worlds and interact with people all around the world. So we're kind of your one-stop shop for everything virtual reality. And we're also going to be and have started through our nonprofit help kids and young adults with autism, which Lonnie could talk about a little bit more. And also using virtual reality for cognitive therapies and physical therapies.
Oh, wow. So I mean, we got a lot to dive into. So,
There's a lot.
So, like, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Well, the nonprofit is called Autistics. And what the Autistics does is kind of like, try to put it simple. We recycle autism. We recycle the negative tendencies of autistic kids into something more positive, productive, and career building. So basically, in a nutshell, that's what the Autistics are about. We use virtual reality equipment to provide autistic kids with a platform where they can communicate with adults and advocates and teach us rather than have them go backwards to be more like us. So that's kind of the theme of the Autistics.
Wow. So pretty much you hitting all spectrums of the cognitive sense along with the physical touch and getting all the senses in play. Except for the sense of taste, I'm sure, right?
Not yet.
I get.
Although we do have virtual reality dinner parties. So,
how does that work?
Well, our space is very it's functional and it's very how can I say, you can move things around. So it's very adaptable to whatever you want to do here. So our game floor, which is pretty open so that you can walk around and move. All we have to do is move a couple things, and then we have chefs come in. They have three-part dinner parties. They partake in the dinner, and then they can play VR. And we can customize your experience to whatever it is. We've had church groups come and use us during the pandemic as a place where they can come and watch church services on our TVs. We've had travel agencies come in with their teams and have trainings and things like that, but then they can go on virtual trips in the VR headset.
That is cool.
Yeah, we've had hospital groups come down, case managers, social workers, to see how it helps people with traumatic brain injuries. And then all the way on the other side, people that just come down to party. We've had famous DJs come down here, have birthday parties. You can set up food, beverages, anything that you can think of, you can do within virtual reality, and within our space is very adaptable.
Wow. All right. So, so it's like so many things that you can actually do with this event space, and it's really cool. Hopefully one day I get to come up there to experience it.
Yeah, we're not too far. Come on up.
Oh, nice, lovely, like 3-hour drive. So, you're not too far relatively.
Yeah.
All right. So let's dive into it. So where did this whole concept come from?
I'll let Lonnie touch base on that. He was really into it from the creative side. And then I brought the business, side of it. I'll let Lonnie talk about kind of where the idea came from.
Well, it started with my mom. May she rest in peace. Just passed a couple months ago.
Sorry to hear that.
She was thanks. She was experiencing depression and pain and some illnesses she had. So I wanted to find a way to relieve her pain, and so I got with Arthur here, and we came up with some things in virtual reality that might help. And the idea was small at first. We were working out of a really small room, about 8 by 8, and it just kind of grew. I didn't expect it to grow like that. So it kind of expanded from a healthcare type thing into helping my 2 boys who were both diagnosed with autism. Now, one of my sons, I don't know, you may have heard of him. He's one of the. I just heard this last week. He's one of the most well-known artists in Philadelphia. He's won the Pew Fellowship. He's up for another award, and he has a bunch of shows across the country. So he's pretty well known, and he and I didn't get along, and I had to find a way to communicate with him better. The virtual reality was a good way to do that. So it was kind of like what the Autistics were developed for, was to let him teach me in the world that he created, rather than have me try to force him into mine. And that's what I was doing. I was trying to force him to be normal, but he was showing me that autism is a different type of normal. I can't change him. I can't change him. This is what he was trying to tell me, but I wasn't listening. So that's why me and him didn't get along. But then when I finally realized that, let me listen to you. And when I did that, we started to recycle autism more toward what he saw it to be, not what I saw it or what everybody else saw it to be. And that worked out for him. He started to excel in his art. And now he's a master at his trade. So it worked for me. And we want to show through the Autistics that could work for other parents, advocates who have autistic children or are fighting for someone who has autism.
Yeah. Initially, Lonnie used it for his mother, and it helped her with the pain and depression. Then he used it virtually, and this is going back years. This is going back to like 2015, 16. This is before VR was very popular. And then in 2017 is when we first started talking about having a place where people could go, both kids and young adults with autism as well as elderly, to be able to use autism more so in a health sense than just gaming. Mm-hmm. And my background is healthcare and real estate. And I've been involved with different businesses that are more so real estate related, as well as businesses in the healthcare area. I've overseen a number of different large nursing facilities, assisted living facilities, things of that nature, and then have a real estate business on the side. So when he came with the idea of us helping people, we initially started with just a study. It was a group of, what was it, like 5 or 6 people from the age of like 45 to 75.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that we had them fill out a little questionnaire about how they feel about pain, depression, these different things before VR. Then we let them try VR, all these different experiences and things, and then asked them how do they feel after. And everybody felt amazing. Like, for example, there's this one lady who always complained that her neck hurt and she can't move her neck. And, you know, my neck's in pain. We put her in VR. And once you trick your mind and your brain and she was in the world, next thing you know, she's like, oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Not knowing she's moving her neck. Didn't even realize there's no pain. Meanwhile, she had been complaining of pain for like months, not moving her neck. And, you know.
And the reaction is instant. Yeah. That's the amazing part of VR. You put it on, and within a few seconds, when they start realizing what they're actually doing, it's like, you see the response. Yeah. It's the same thing with the autism. You can see change in the participant within seconds of putting on the headset.
It changes your mood. It alters. It makes the unreal seem real. So therefore, if we put you inside of a happy situation or on a beach or you know, eventually things like pictures of your family, your grandkids, or your mind can't be upset and happy at the same time.
It's got to choose.
It's got to choose something, and you can't be. And that's what VR does for you. It can scare you if you're playing scary stuff. It can make you happy. It can really alter your mood and change your perception. So when he had the idea, you know, he's the creative guy behind the company. You know, everything you see, the design, the colors, the logos, you know, he's the creative. And then I was the guy that knew how to put together the funding and the business plan. And I had 2 other partners, Pat and Teresa, shout out to them. They're involved with the HoloDec as well. And I had done some real estate stuff with them and some other things. And the 4 of us put this together. And, you know, I helped with the business side, the funding, the real estate leases, the marketing, and we just married the 2 to make it happen.
So let's talk about, excuse me. So let's talk about it a little bit. So 2015, you started, you know, having a conversation about the VR stuff. Then you had 2017 where you started talking about it in the small groups. Now, talk about what is the cost. Well, actually, how did you find this place as far as this warehouse or, you know, that whole adventure? Because I know that's another podcast on its own, but just kind of a short version.
Yeah. So I think, you know, there's certain things that have happened along the way of our journey that to me lets me know that we're on the right path and we're not making these decisions by ourselves. I believe in God. I believe in higher power. And I think that some of these things we could not have planned on our own. You know, the way we found this place is me and Lonnie were out in the city, driving around, trying to find different locations. We're out in Germantown. We're in North Philly. We're like all over looking at places. And my car broke down that day for some reason. And I had already had this, there was no reason why I should have, honestly. Yeah. And my car started overheating and we went to AutoZone. While we're at AutoZone to get some antifreeze, we run into his cousin who he hadn't seen in like 15 years.
Wow.
And so we just so happened to tell him, yeah, we're out here looking for a place for our virtual reality place. And he says, I know a guy who has a big warehouse.
Everybody knows the guy, right?
Yeah. But he hadn't seen him in 15 years.
Yeah. Wow.
And my car breaks down in a random location in the middle of the city that I'd never been in this AutoZone in my life. You know?
Yeah, it was just odd that my cousin happened to be in the same AutoZone.
And his cousin happened to be there. So he gives us a card. We follow up with the guy. When we get down there, he gave us the card to this one realtor. And the realtor, when I got down here, he said, man, I'm busy, today, but yeah, this is a great place. But you talk to my boss, he'll take care of you. So the guy he handed us the card to, he didn't even end up handling our situation. He passed me off to his boss. I go and I see his boss. I'm like, you look familiar. And he's like, Toby. I mean, he's like, Art. I'm like, Toby? Come to find out, he owns like this whole block. He owns properties behind us. He owns properties over there. I'm like, where do I know you from? He's like, you sold me a house like some years ago, like wholesaling. And I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like, yeah, you always did good business. And, you know, and then we start talking and I told him about the project, and immediately from him, like, you know, knowing me and we've done business before, we were actually one of the first people in this location. He gave us a crazy rate on the rent, you know, per square foot. You know, we were paying less than what somebody would pay for a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. And we have a huge commercial space on a major street. And just little things like that continue to happen along the way. Mm-hmm. But that's how we found this location. A random bumping into his cousin that he hadn't seen in 15 years.
Yeah. That's crazy. So it brings this whole thing of like manifestation of when you fully believe that this is going to happen, just things start lining up and just have to be open. Because I always hate that phrase where they say G's moves in silence. I'm like, but you have to let somebody know in order for you to get to that next level. Somebody is always there to meet you at each rung of that ladder. Yeah. And this is a perfect example of that being so true. Yeah, you guys are doing it. I love it. Yeah. I just want to go out there now. yeah. So how is the cash flow piece of it? Because a lot of people that listen to the show are also in the real estate. So what made this place seem appealing financially besides the rent?
Yeah. So first, let me say that we also learned that keeping secrets, keeping things to yourself, trying to, you know, think that we're the only ones with this idea and we don't want to tell people about the idea or about our finances or about that did nothing but kind of hold us back. It was only once we started opening up and telling more people about what we're doing and trying to be inclusive, you know, in my opinion, is that things started to fall into place. When we tried to just keep it amongst the two of us or, you know, the other two ladies that I mentioned, things just didn't seem to work the way that they should, because essentially you're like keeping the blessing to yourself, and you're not allowing other people that can help you and that you can help by like spreading the word. So the finances, the rents, it's a pretty low overhead business. It's a high initial cash outlay for the equipment, the computers, the TV monitors, the headsets, the games themselves, the liability insurance, the electric. You know, this location, for example, has to have double the air conditioning units than a normal location because people are in here moving physically, and we didn't even realize that things like the heat thrown off by having 26 computers in a location and having people and having, how many TVs we got in here? You know, 16, 20 TVs and the lights, all this stuff throws extra heat. Right. And if you don't have extra air conditioning units, these are things we learned along the way. Okay. You know, we could be consultants for this, to have other people not make the same mistakes of all the little things we learn. You know, who knew we needed an extra AC unit? You know, who knew about some of the extra costs with insurance coverage? If you call yourself an arcade, that could be a potential problem. Just, you know, all these different things. But after the initial cash outlay, the ongoing costs aren't much. You know, the workers are young people that want to knock down the door to work in a gaming place anyway. They're getting paid to have fun and play games. We let them play games for free. Nice. If they see a game that's coming out, we'll just buy it. You know, they can bring their friends down here. And so you're looking at employees that are anywhere from just say $8 to $15, you know, an hour. You only need a few of them. We charge, you know, it varies what we charge, $30 an hour to come and play for an hour. We have some memberships coming out, things of that nature. The cash flow is better on the larger events, like birthday parties, corporate team building events where the people rent the whole space, or adults that want to rent the place for the night. So, you know, we've had parties here from like 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. where they just book the whole location.
Wow. And what's the cost to rent it per hour? Was it depending on
It
how many
depends.
people? Okay,
Yeah, that's a customized price. I don't necessarily have a price list per se,
gotcha.
but once you tell me how many people and et cetera, but just for the for the About That Wallet membership, and it's a few $1,000s to rent a place, and then it can go up depending on what we're providing. If we're providing the DJ, or if we're providing decorations or things of that nature. So yeah, with a premium, because no event space has gaming and virtual reality like we do, and projectors and sound systems and movie room, things of that nature.
This is awesome. I'm already just in awe of the whole place. But obviously everybody want to know from so with the $30 you get to play any game you want to, as long as you want, for a whole hour.
Yes.
Okay. And say if a game is already taken up, you just kind of wait your turn, and then
No, every station is loaded with multiple games. When you come in, there's a vast array of games that you could choose from. Our staff are trained to one of the first questions they ask you is, have you played virtual reality before?
Mhm.
If the answer is no, then we start you off slow with like a short experience, and then slowly move you up for your tolerance. We'll ask, what kind of games do you like in general? If you're somebody that comes in and you say, I'm not really a gamer, I don't like games, then we basically promise you're going to like what we give you, because we're going to give you a short movie. We're going to give you interactive things. I would say nobody has left here and not had a good time, even people that think they're not gamers, because it's not about gaming. It's about experiences. It's about what virtual reality can do to make you feel like you're in a different world.
Most people think it's about gaming, and they come in and they realize gaming, education, health. We have documentaries on and board games you can play in VR, chess, checkers. So if you're not a gamer, you can just go into we have a social bridge where it's just set up to where people can sit on the bridge and, like Arthur said in the beginning, communicate with people around the world,
In the metaverse.
or just bring your friends and you can communicate with each other using avatars in a world that you create. So
You can get your heart rate up. You could be sweating like I don't know what from boxing. Like, I mean, you could do 12 rounds. We have professional boxers that come down here, and they said that this is legitimately as good of a workout as when they do like shadow boxing or sparring in the ring. As far as like, they're in here, professional boxers,
right,
that support us, that are in here like busting sweat,
right.
hard.
So you got I'm sure you're COVID ready with like the towels and the sanitation rags and all that.
Yes,
stuff.
so that's why that's why right now it's you have to schedule 24 hours in advance, and we have to know what time you're coming, because right now with COVID and everything, we have to limit the number of customers in the space. So it's very private. You're not going to ever come in here and it'd be like 30, 50 people in here all together. And then virtual reality in and of itself is social distance, because our boxing area, you have to have that whole area to yourself to walk around. Right. And so nobody can be by you, because if you're punching and you might knock somebody out physically.
All our stations have about 6 feet around them. So
a minimum, yeah. Awesome. And then we don't book more than a certain number of parties, 2 to 3 parties at the same time, 2 to 3 bookings in the space at the same time. If you throw a party with us, we're one of the few places where it's going to be a private event. You'll have this whole entire space to yourself, first floor and second floor, just for your birthday party, for your 10-year-old, your 15-year-old, your 60-year-old, doesn't matter.
Nice. So getting back to, because it seemed like you guys just have this full immerse vision. So because it's not too many African Americans inside the virtual reality space, what gave you the confidence to say, you know what, I don't see too many of us out here doing it, let's do this? Or was it just came from the passion from before of just helping your mom out?
Passion.
Okay.
I wasn't too much worried about who was in it. we kind of approached it like Arthur said in the beginning, where we tried to keep the secrets to ourselves, but that didn't help us. The passion was there, and we just held it in, and we spread it out in the space, but we kind of limited ourselves to what we were learning, because we tried to do it ourselves, because we thought that someone would, let's say, steal the idea, someone would get ahead of us, things like that. But thinking like that just slows you down.
Yeah, so, we had to trust each other's skill set.
Yeah,
I trusted his skill set and his knowledge about things that were coming in the future, because there's been other things that he's told me, like, this is coming, and I didn't understand it. Even the metaverse. He actually wanted to name our company something else back in 2017.
Omniverse.
He wanted to name it the Omniverse.
Oh, that would have been cool.
And I'm like, Omniverse?
Yeah, nobody liked that.
I was like, what's that?
Because I remember the Dodge Omni. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I'm like, but to me, like I said, he's the creative. I'm like, Omniverse. Man,
that was a lesson that I think we learned. But
yeah. And now Facebook changed their name to Metaverse.
Yeah. And
so now I'm going back. I'm like, man, didn't you? Let's go back and get Omniverse.
Yeah.
Now we're trying to go backwards and pick up domain names and
yeah. You can't even get those domain names.
And capitalize on some of the ideas that he had years ago.
Right.
And then vice versa, he would tell me something where he didn't understand about marketing, the importance of marketing, and how you can't market without, it's more difficult to market without speaking to people.
Yeah.
You got to talk to people. You got to interact. You got to network.
I had all the tech, but it was just sitting around me. I wasn't doing nothing with it.
He had all the ideas, but don't want to talk to anybody. even something like this podcast, this webcast that we're on.
Yeah.
This is not something that he would have comfortably done a number of years ago.
Yeah.
I would have had to drag him physically to try to. This is not something he would have done, but we both had to grow and trust each other in this process in order to really take advantage and work with each other's opposite skill sets.
Yeah. My opinion was that somebody will see it and it'll take off. You don't have to really talk to nobody. Just wait till they come. Yeah. And I learned from Art that
I'm like, nobody's coming, bro. Unless they're not just because you have a great idea. He thinks you can just post it once on a website, and then all of a sudden 1 million people are going to be coming to it because it's so cool. Right. I'm like, bro, nobody is going to know that we're here. They are not going to know we're here, and we still have some growth to do with marketing. But
yeah, because I just heard about you guys maybe a month ago. And I can only imagine how long I've been out before then.
Yeah.
And then it's because the same thing, that's one of the hard things as being in the business is marketing. And in the space of marketing, how often are you guys putting out something to kind of market what you guys doing to kind of help build the brand awareness?
Yeah, we're in between marketing companies right now. So if you know anybody also, we're looking to hire somebody. So right now, what we're doing is some more grassroots type things. I'm interacting more with people on social media. I'm giving away things for free. That was another thing that we talked about. He's like, hey, for free, give away something for free. I'm like, bro, it's not free. Is really a good way of getting marketing that you're not paying for. If I give away. I've been giving away free sessions to the community kids, people that normally don't even they come in here and it's like, oh my goodness, these are kids that never even try VR, I've never seen this kind of technology. Especially we're still kind of in North Philly,
right?
And it's an area it's a kind of a tricky area. It's an area that's gentrifying, and you've got $500,000-$600,000 houses, but then the next block up, you still have people that are way below the poverty line. That are still not exposed to these sort of things, who aren't exposed to computers and who you would think know about virtual reality, and they have no clue,
Yeah.
And so we're giving away time to people like that. We're marketing by having certain social media influencers come and throw parties here for free or for a greatly discounted rate in return for them tagging us. And helping to spread the word. So right now we're doing a lot of things that are kind of like grassroots marketing that don't cost a ton of money, but that really helped spread the word, in the community. Before we jump back into what we did before, which was paying top dollar to a marketing agency, thousands of dollars to a marketing agency. We did not see the return, because really it's kind of it's cheating a little bit if you think you could just throw money at the problem and not really cover the basis of the steps of growth. In my opinion, you still have to have that basis, that grassroots, that community, that networking with people, spreading the word, getting people to know you as a person and your business as a person before people are just going to be like coming to support your business. I think we have to add that later as we, continue to grow. So.
Yeah, I was thinking of that McDonald's guerrilla marketing, every 15, like not even every 15, just about every 3 minutes, you'll see a McDonald's commercial if you're watching regular TV.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of money.
That's what I used to say to Lonnie. It's like Coca-Cola will never stop marketing. McDonald's will never, even though it's one of the most recognizable brands, and so is McDonald's and so is Nike. They will continue to throw money at their marketing and continue to change their marketing and evolve the marketing. There you go. Like they'll never stop. You have to continue to do it because there's always new people that are gonna see it. Yep. Teenagers are getting older every single day. Somebody new may see it. New people moving to the area. People move out of the area. You have to stay fresh in somebody's mind in order for us to be a choice for them for entertainment. We want to be in front of their mind is a place that they choose to come for date night, to come to bring their kids, to have a birthday party, to have a different experience, to use us as a space.
You called me on date night. So
yeah,
how you gonna do the romance? We you want to have like a virtual canoe and y'all just
yeah. So yeah, man, we have like I said, we have surround sound. We actually talk to the customers, see what kind of music they like to listen to. We'll play that in the background. We'll dim the lights. And then date night, it's two ways. Either, some couples like to fight against each other during date night because they're very competitive. Okay. So they might get in the game where they're trying to knock each other off a pedestal or shoot at each other or play laser tag in the virtual world on opposing teams. Or then some couples come in and they want to be more, romantic and stuff. So you'll be on the same team, or you can. One thing that was kind of popular was a couple came in who had never been to each other's childhood place where they grew up and everything. Mm-hmm. So in a virtual world, we took the wife to where the husband was born, where he grew up, showed her his elementary school, showed him, where he got in his first fight on a parking lot, showed him where he worked, where was his first job, all in the virtual world. They're walking together, figuratively down the virtual street, showing each other about their childhood and their lives and things like that.
Yeah, that's a really interesting experience. And I think I remember that the female, she started to cry, and she was so taken by what she learned about her I don't know if it was her husband. Her husband. She learned about her husband. There's things that she didn't know, and it was interesting to see that.
Yeah. Or watching movies together, or you're interacting with each other inside of the game or against each other. A lot of people get a kick out of that too. Boxing each other on your date night.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
I might have to bring my wife up there with me.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. So what would separate successful people from people who never get started in their whole vision? I know you kind of hit on most of it earlier, but I just want to, like, what will be those couple things that will separate somebody?
Consistency.
Courage.
Okay. Yeah, courage for sure.
You got to be ready to step out there. I mean, it was scary for us, but luckily we had each other, we had the group and we went in it together. And when one person got scared or two people got scared, you got somebody backing you up. You can do this. So that was important, having somebody rooting for you. We're rooting for each other. So we stuck together.
Yeah, for sure.
And that helped us.
Yeah,
a lot.
And I think choosing your business partners wisely, because like I said, we had strengths in different areas, and when one was falling down, the other one, there's been times where he's been down, and I've been like, bro, come on, let's go, you got this.
And I know that I depend on him for that. So I will, when I'm down and I know I'm down, I'll come to him. I'm say, all right, I'm down, man.
Yeah,
you got to do something to bring you back up.
And then there's been times where I'm down. And then he's been able to, because I can say that if it wasn't for Lonnie and for the other two ladies I mentioned, Pat, Teresa, I don't know that I was stuck through some of the trials for this. I don't know if I would have had the fortitude by myself to go over a lot of the hurdles that we had to get here. I might have quit at some point and been like, this is, but I was too deep in. And I didn't want to let him down, right. And he pushed me through. And they needed me for certain things. Everybody was needed for a certain reason and to get us to where we are. And we couldn't have done it, without each other. So I definitely courage, definitely consistency, pushing through, no matter what. Doing something for your business every day, not letting a day go by that you don't do something to move your business forward. Setting clear goals.
Trust is another one. Well,
yeah, trust is huge. Knowing your market and knowing the changes in the marketplace, which he's great at, technology wise. And talking about trust, I've learned to just trust that whatever he says, instead of being like, what? Instead be like, you know what? You've been right already before, multiple times. And he might be wrong again some other time. We've spent thousands of dollars on some certain equipment that then gets outdated. Thousands, like $16,000 for equipment that then the manufacturer has some bugs with, or it doesn't work right or whatever. But that's okay, because there's other stuff that we spent money on that's been a huge hit, a huge win, where we've paid maybe say $800 a piece. And now they're worth $250, $300, a piece.
Can you give an example?
Because we were ahead of the curve. Sure, our roto chairs. Wow. We purchased those and got involved with roto chair when it was just a Kickstart idea, a Kickstarter idea. We paid for them before they even made the first one. We waited 3 years after we paid for these chairs for them to be developed and for us to get them. We were the first in the country to get them.
I thought that we were going. I was taking a lot of heat on that one because that was my idea, and I'm thinking, wow, I'm contacting the company. It's like sometimes they don't answer, and they keep promising delivery, and we never got them. And so I'm thinking, well, does this guy even have the chairs? I mean, are we ever going to get them? Yeah. And once we got them, they were our biggest attraction. Yeah, and they're amazing.
We spent $20,000 for those chairs.
I think it was like maybe 15,000.
Yeah, 15,000. They've doubled and they've tripled in price now. But that was an exercise in Lonnie seeing the future of investing in technology that hadn't even come out yet. Then us waiting for several years for it to go into production. So kind of being first, in that case, we were blessed to be first, and then the patience to stick through. And this is from a different country. So once you spend your money in a different country, it's not like it's easy to get a lawyer to go sue them or find them, or even, all we're using is a WhatsApp number.
Yeah, it was just and that was rough.
Yeah.
Checking their Facebook page.
We like, man, and some days I'm like, man, we're not getting these chairs. That money's gone.
They were trying to, they wanted the money back, and I was like, oh.
Matter of fact, at first I bought the first chair. Yeah,
you bought the first.
I bought the first chair. I paid $900. He talked me into buying this chair. I paid $900 for this chair.
Right.
And $900 is $900.
No matter how you look at it.
Look, that's not nothing to sneeze at. I don't care. That's $900.
But he didn't get the chair for 3 years.
But I didn't get the chair for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And then we ended up buying more because they ended up sending us pictures. We saw the website was developing. We saw the company was moving forward. The guy was communicating with us eventually.
Yeah.
And the light was at the end of the tunnel. Not to mention timing. At that time, even if, let's say we bought those chairs when they came over, we didn't even have a place to put them.
Oh.
We were in the only place we were using for this arcade was in the bottom of a home care agency. And there was a little office. The office was about 6 by 6 foot. And
That's
we had, matter of fact, we had one of these chairs, a folding chair, or like and a screen and one headset. That's all we had.
Come in and
we didn't know where we were going to put these things when they got there. Yeah. We were just supremely confident that we were going to pull something off and make something happen.
Yeah.
So did this all start in that 6 by 6 room, or did it like this was like this final warehouse was where everything kind of came together? Or
no, we had the other space first. We had the other 6. If you scroll down to the bottom of our Instagram page, you'll see a room that's like 6 by 6, and we would have people come in there and play games in one little room.
Wow.
Yeah.
So funny to look back at that. That's just really funny.
I'm thinking about it now just from talking to you. Yeah. But and that's the other thing. Sometimes you have to look back and see how far you have come, because we still look at each other now and we're like, man, this is now we're like, I don't know, we're getting bougie. We're like, this is too small. We need a bigger place. We're like, oh, this place is no good. We're we're like already looking towards the bigger spot and the next locations. But we started in a little room.
So
with no money.
That was gonna be my next thing. Because I was wondering, like, well, why are you starting a small room instead of like how people do these mobile vans, the game vans? So what's it? What was the difference between mobile?
So the difference with a game van is ideally we wanted 8 by 8 square feet of space where you can, with no walls and higher ceiling height. Because some of these games you jump.
Gotcha.
Some of these games you jump and put your hand in the air. Mm-hmm. Like if you're playing NBA 2K and VR, you're in a 3-point contest and you're jumping. And if you're boxing, and you can't cram that many people into those vans. Those vans are decent for console games, but they're not great for virtual reality unless you're only doing sitting down games. And sitting down is cool, but the whole purpose of VR is to be able to make it seem like you're actually there. And you only can seem like you're there if you're walking and jumping and, really fully interacting. So those trucks, this didn't fit our business model. In the beginning, one of our business models was we'll travel to you and we'll set up a party at your house or at your location. We'll bring all our equipment. We were doing that with nursing facilities. We were traveling to nursing facilities, taking computers and VR games and having the elderly people use virtual reality, and they loved it. And we only stopped that because of COVID is the only reason we had to stop that. But we hope that,
that's a funny experience.
We'll do that.
Is that funny?
It's a funny experience. Okay. The elderly person someone who's never experienced VR, someone who's depressed. And, I walked into one of the nursing homes and I had to compete with a DJ that they had every Thursday. So DJ was on one side, I'm on the other side, and it was like, who goes to who? So I had this one elderly lady, she rolled up in a wheelchair. She said, I don't think I can do this. She said, I can't stand up and I can't jump around. I said, no, you don't have to. You don't have to stand up, John. So let me put these on your head. So I put them on her head and I put her in it was a shooting game. Mm-hmm. And that's what she said she wanted. And,
she wanted to shoot somebody?
Yeah, that was odd in the first place, but she wanted to do something because she, the manager of the facility said that she's going to be rough, that she doesn't do anything. And I put her in that headset and she was just rocking and rolling. We had a contest. She beat everybody in the contest. And
wow.
Just to see her light up and see the agility that she had moving around, it was amazing. And turned out the DJ lost. And because after everybody saw her, they just came over to the virtual reality. And every week they would look for me, and they would call the office. Where's he at? He's coming today. So they really loved the experience and wanted us to return. So
Not to mention, you can take it to people that are in bed, that are like bedridden, or who don't get up or are too sick to get up. You can take VR to them and have them, in the virtual world experience not being in bed, and it just really, we've just seen it really impact people's moods. It's not just gaming. It's this whole thing is not just gaming.
Okay.
It's going so far, and we have to. We part of our business, strategy and discussions have been, we can't do it all. Right. So we're trying to narrow it. And so even what we've told you is a lot.
Yeah.
But there's even more than that. I mean, surgeons can practice in VR. At one point, we were going to go after architects who can do blueprints in VR. We were going after pilots who can do pilot training in VR. You could go on and on and on, and we can't do it all.
Right.
So we're really trying to focus what we do. That's another business, takeaway is sometimes you have to focus and master one thing or a couple things, and you can't take down the whole entire market of VR by yourself.
Yeah, I want to though. We even have police officers and prison guards come down to use these shooting apps.
Yeah.
So they let us know that the cost of ammo was going up, and it's hard for them to get to the shooting range. So we got them to come down and try this out.
Yeah, I like that idea. The no shoot training in VR, put you in different scenarios and give a police officer a chance to practice not shooting, and things like that.
And the autistic thing, that takes it to another level. You get an autistic child in here, and he'll create a world, and then he can invite you into that world. You can literally be in the world he created with him.
That is cool.
And make suggestions or just walk around, and it helps different psychologists get different views of what this person is thinking. Maybe this one person uses green a lot or red a lot, and what's that thing he built over there? And you could be in there with him, and you can ask these questions, and you get them to communicate with you. So that's one of the really hype things about using VR to help kids with autism.
This is so cool. Because every time as you guys talking about these different experiences, I'm thinking of from Black Mirror, San Junipero episode, which is really where they take the subconscious, or they take the person's essence, and kind of when they in a what they call it, they're in like a nursing home, and everybody's uploaded or booted up to the server room.
Oh
yeah,
just
had that full experience. Yeah. Jump like, to different decades.
That's like that was on Amazon, right?
Yep. Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah. I saw that show. I saw that
for Black Mirror. Yeah.
Oh, and Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Okay. There was another show too.
The one that's on Amazon, that one is called not The One. I think it is called The One. No, The One is the dating one. But there is one I know what you're talking about, where the guy had passed away, he didn't realize he was dead or whatever.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty cool. I gotta find that. I'll make sure I put a link in the show notes for the people that listen. Because when you talk about that experience, I'm thinking of the people who have no audible sense. They kind of cut off at the tongue, but they can still think and process. And if they still have hand mobile, they can actually build something or even type out what they have to say inside their virtual realm. There's so many. I'm sorry I have moved on to the third segment, which is the futures of it. But it's like I'm thinking of so many different realms that you guys are talking about, and how you can provide family members even to live in the mind of somebody that's no longer available. And it is really cool. I'm really surprised on where you guys are going. So where you guys are going, actually, that should be my next question.
Yeah.
What's next?
The gaming and entertainment segment, we'll never go away. That's the fun, the entertainment of it. But we really want to have an impact medically. Okay. So kids, young adults with autism, we have a partnership with Jefferson Hospital where we're starting studies, because this is all still very new. And there needs to be more data to show and support the positive outcomes for kids and young adults with autism, as well as therapies, art therapy, physical therapy, and still that elderly population as well that is often overlooked with pain, depression, just quality of life. So, we're going to have two components. And so the future, the gaming part, that's kind of like a no-brainer. Everybody come down, have fun, have a good time, event space. But the future is really tapping into how you can use VR to really impact lives in the medical field, the medical side of things. And so that's what you'll see from us in the future is more facilities for gaming as well, just so that we can have economies of scale for revenue and profit. And to kind of, and we're the first ones in Philadelphia. We were one of the first on the whole East Coast when we first, delved into this. Some more are popping up now in Connecticut. There's one in Jersey. We were able to survive COVID. A number of different virtual reality arcades closed down. We believe we're the coolest one.
Nice.
We have equipment that nobody else has. Our design is we just have a dope space. Other people just had like a square piece of carpet with wires hanging down from the wall, and I think we really, with Lonnie's vision and design, I think we have a really cool space, and so we want to kind of capitalize and take over the market for the gaming part, and then the near future, within 6 months future, is have these therapy locations as well.
Okay, so I remember earlier you say you're doing esports. Is that something that you guys going to have like a sponsor a team to get to go national?
So we kind of realized that esports, and when I was talking about focusing, we kind of realized that esports isn't directly in our business model.
Got it.
And esports has become very similar to regular sports, NBA, NFL, in which, it's tough to break into. Mm-hmm. It's tough to find that superstar player. And that's where you really make money, is finding that marquee LeBron James of esports, that Michael Jordan of esports, somebody who's winning all these tournaments. And then you have to sponsor teams and have big sponsors and things like that. And it kind of got away from our mission a little bit. So we do have the equipment, and we still have people that are interested in participating in an esports team, and we can be that place to facilitate them should we come across that sort of person, or somebody reached out to us and say, hey, can you sponsor us, or can we use your location to practice, or what have you. We still have that ability, but we're really more so focusing on virtual reality and virtual reality therapies. But people can still come down and play esports.
What kind of drew us to the esports thing was the autistic kids with the hand-to-eye coordination. My son, he's like I said, he was diagnosed autistic. He has amazing hand-eye coordination. He works that keyboard really, really fast. So what drew us to this was that we could get more children like him, or more kids like him, to create a team. And I think that would be an awesome team. So like Art said, we still can facilitate that. As a matter of fact, we were working, a little bit with
Nerd Street Gamers. Yeah.
And, we still have the relationship, but we haven't really delved into it because of what Art just said, that it's really not in our model. But I think that if we came across a group of individuals who really wanted to play, and I think we would do it. But I'm still looking at that as we get more autistic kids into our programs. We might go that route.
Man, I was like, you have so many avenues now that you have people can see the vision, and you're actually putting everything into place with the right teams. You got the right models. Is there anything that you're afraid of at this point?
Failure.
Yeah. I'm kind of afraid of missing something, missing some technology that's out there. So I try to stay on top of it. It's hard because it's moving so fast.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of afraid of getting behind.
Yeah, I'm afraid of somebody beating us. Someone that you mentioned. I mean, we just have to face the facts. We might be the only African American that I know of virtual reality company on the planet. Yeah, I mean, I would think, I would love to know if anybody else is out there.
Yeah.
But I don't think that there is. And I think we're one of the very few that are in the technology space and in the virtual reality and doing what we do. And we've come across roadblocks. I mean, it's very apparent when we pitched this idea to numbers of investors, kept getting no. Now, mind you, his idea started back in 2016.
Right.
And then we officially formulated our company in 2018. Late 2017. Actually, the idea was like late 2017, and then we formulated 2018. So we've been talking about this for a while, and talking to banks and talking to investors and trying to get money and seed money, and no. I mean, no after no after no. People telling us, that's not going to work. Oh, virtual reality, who would want to do that? Or banks telling us we're not bankable because there's no model for them to base our success off of. We're coming with something brand new that has no basis for financials. Right. We can't give you financials. We can't even give you a competitors. There is no competitors. There's no such thing. There's no such thing at the time. And so having the fortitude to stick through all that, but then and certain grants, we're applying for grants and free money and things like that. Things that we believe we gave supreme, like excellent pitch decks, beautiful pitch decks, beautiful presentations, and just keep getting no. And some of it, I think, is because we're not part of certain networks, certain, we're not from long money. We don't have people that can back us or have some of those relationships that other cultures, can lean upon. Mm-hmm. And it's not an excuse; it's just a fact. We've seen it as a fact. Where and so to keep fighting through has been tough. But we're starting to see the benefits of that. But I am scared that somebody else will see an idea and have the pockets and the money to just flip a switch and then knock out all the hard work that we've been doing. So that that's a little scary.
I started I'm so afraid of that I started experimenting with VR and mind control. We actually have the technology so that you won't have to use the hand controllers, that you can control it with your mind. So we're experimenting with that. I hope to roll that out soon. So and I think that we'll be on top of it. We'll be way ahead of the game if I can get that out fast enough. So
the only thing I can say is that what I've learned, and I try to keep remembering, is that there are 100 pizza shops, companies in every city. Mm-hmm. If you go down the aisle, the bread aisle in any grocery store across America, there's 100 different loaves of bread. Yep. If you go to a McDonald's, there's a Burger King somewhere within a couple blocks. There's a Wendy's. So there's enough for everybody. So at times I worry about that, but then I also tell myself right away that's a scarcity mindset. Mm-hmm. And because we were even worried about Facebook. Facebook pushing the Oculus and VR but what it really does is
it helps you guys out.
It helps us. Yeah. It helps educate the market so that the market now, when we say virtual reality, at least, in 2016, they're like, what? Yep. Now, at least people have some sort of framework, some sort of idea of what it is. So other big companies are educating the market so that we can now take advantage of the market, and people are looking for us more. We're popping up on Google more. We're, these words, these SEO words and things like that, people are searching and finding us because of other companies, doing this. So we're gonna keep plugging along, and you know, like I said, there's certain things that have just fell into place for us where we know it's just not us by ourselves. There's a bigger plan for us, and so we're gonna just keep following it, and what's meant for us will be.
Okay. I know we've been running a little bit long, but I actually got a couple questions because, like you said, if you guys are the only people in this particular space when the banks were saying no. So say if there's somebody else that's out there that's listening to the show that want to start up a nice, lovely VR in a 6x6 room and trying to get that financing, what would you say to kind of get them to a yes sooner? They might get a couple no's as part of the game.
Yeah. What I would say is there's other ways you can raise money while you're focusing on this. In my case, I had some other things going. You know, there's ways that you can make money in real estate. Wholesaling is one. That's a whole separate, topic. That's a whole nother topic. But that's how I amassed some money is through wholesaling and some property flips and things like that. So I was able to take money from some other venues and things to put into this. So I would say try to find some other revenue stream that's going to feed you that you can peel from to put towards the thing that you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Just work that 6x6 room.
Work the 6x6 room.
6x6 room. Make some money.
Work that room.
And
work that room. Keep making money from that room and put that money right back into the business. Gotcha. I think some people start off small. They start making a little bit of money, and then they take that money and then go out to eat, or take that money and go buy something, or they spend it on the wrong thing in their business. Mm-hmm. You have to spend it on the thing that is going to impact the revenue and get you more money back. And we used to have this conversation because he's the technology guy. He would sometimes want to buy stuff like ahead of time. Like he wants the best projector that we could possibly have down in that room, in the 6x6 room. He wants the $2,000 projector. Yeah. I'm like, bro, we can't.
Right. Not a
but this
$2,000 space.
Yeah. This projector is going to have the best pixels. It's going to have it works at night.
Pocket. Yeah. Just buy the stuff.
Yeah, he'll go in his own pocket. I'll be like, don't do that either.
Don't do that.
Don't do that either. I don't want you going in your own pocket. Yeah. We can't buy the most expensive thing. We have to spend it on something that's going to get us more money so that we can continue to grow it until we have enough money to peel away and buy that projector. The funny thing now is he's got 3 of those. Oh, he got nice. 3. We had 3 of those projectors down here now. You know what I mean? But at that time, he had to buy the $100 projector.
Yeah, had to get the $100 projector.
Had to do. We had to slowly just pour money back into the business because eventually, guess what? People come to us now and they want to invest, and it feels so good. We tell them, no, we don't need it. Right. We don't need it now. Yeah, right. You should have caught us back then when we were willing to take anything. Right. We would have gave you 50% for your money, But now we've learned to just grind it out slow and not think it's going to be an overnight success, and pour that money back into the business and keep doing that until it grows. Because man, like you look back and then it's like, wow, we came from that just from pouring money back in, because we went from the one room to a little bit larger room outside of where that one room was, to having the connections here. Oh, and negotiations. We negotiated this place. We were here for almost 2 years before we paid, before we had to pay any actual money for our rent.
Wow, that's a good negotiation.
Yeah, it was being built out at the time. So we had the negotiation. We did have to pay some money towards the construction and things, but it was in long phases. Mm-hmm. Like we had to pay upfront, and then money wasn't due again for like 6 months, then another 6, and then we were in the space for like a few months without having to pay rent, and then so we were able to try to hurry up and make some money.
Yeah, hustle that money
up,
and just to make the next payments on.
Yeah,
that was a rough time. trying to keep that together, keep coming up with that, not having any revenue coming in. So
yeah, because we were coming out of our pocket.
yeah, let's go out.
We were splitting the rent, splitting the bills. I'm like,
yeah.
Sometimes I'm like,
had a phone call between the group, and you on the phone call to talk about the money, but nobody want to say anything.
I'm like, bro.
So we had to I'm like always, all right, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Right.
Why are we on this call?
So it normally starts, right? Why are we on this call? So
yeah, we're all pitching in, like we're doing whatever we gotta do. Yeah, it was just perseverance, man.
All right, I have to definitely keep that in mind when it comes to partnerships, because I know it's not easy dealing with all the different emotions and so forth. So, and thanks for entertaining that particular question, because a lot of people that are out there that are even just starting their own business, they want to start small, but also a lot of people just ready to quit their job and just jump into something new. And it seems like how you said, it's just keep whatever is bringing an income now until you start, and so you can use that money to start pouring into your passion project. Yeah. All right. So y'all ready for the full? Oh, is there anything else that y'all want to talk about before we get to the 4 questions?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything.
Okay. All right. So final 4 questions. What does wealth mean to you?
That's easy for me now. Wealth to me. True wealth is being healthy, having healthy and wealthy relationships with your family and the things that really matter. But wealth to me is being able to do what you want when you want with your time. To me, being able to spend your time when you want and how you want is wealth to me, as opposed to money. You're rich if you have a lot of money, but you're not wealthy until you can spend your time the way you want to spend it.
Nice. And for you, Lonnie?
I guess it's basically the same thing. I think wealth is being able to take care of your loved ones. My sons, they're my rocks. And I think I want to show them a better life than what I had when I was growing up. And at the same time, work with them to appreciate it. Appreciate where you get the wealth from. So I think wealth is just being able to take care of your loved ones and showing them a better life.
I like it. Number 2, what was your worst money mistake?
We spent a lot of money, 6 figures, for.
You guys gotta excuse me for a second.
Yeah. See, Lonnie he doesn't even like to talk about this part. He leaves on that question. He's gonna get some tissues to cry or something. Nah, the worst money mistake was, and I'm kicking myself for making this mistake, but I'm gonna be real transparent. In real estate, when you hire a contractor, I know all day long, every day, that you don't give large deposits. You give as small deposit as possible, preferably no deposit.
You gotta start somewhere.
If you could get away with that.
Right.
And well, there's ways in real estate. You can tell him you're going to buy all of the materials, and that will be your deposit, that you're paying for the materials themselves. Right. But they start the work. You're still coming out of pocket of money, but wherever possible, you try not to give the contractor that money. Well, I didn't put that premise to this, and we were able to find this one company that had started up virtual reality, and they seem to be doing very well. And we looked at them as competition initially. Long story short, I approached them, and they were going to take us on as a client and coach us through this process, including buying computers from them, buying chairs from them, equipment and things of that nature. Long story short, we gave them like $50,000 up front for computers and different things. And we trusted we thought that they had more know-how than us. We didn't trust ourselves. And at the end of the day, all they really did was validate things that we already knew. We learned a few things from them, but it was our lack of confidence in ourselves that made us pay them so much money. And we don't feel that we got our money's worth. We know we didn't get our money's worth. And the way that we paid them, we didn't even get all of our equipment the way that we were supposed to. So I would say our biggest money mistake was thinking you can pay somebody else to do the work that you just need to do yourself sometimes when you start up, especially when you don't have a whole lot of money to play with. Sometimes when you're starting out, you have to be that person that does every part of your business. Not only that, that's the best way to learn it, is to do all those parts yourself, as opposed to paying somebody. And we actually kind of did that twice, because with marketing, we paid a large marketing company, and we thought it was the sort of thing where we could pay them, give them our vision, and that they would listen to it and know how to carry it out. But it's difficult. Somebody else can't carry out exactly how you want your vision to look, or your marketing, or your branding, or your and you can't fully trust anybody that you pay to do everything without being involved and seeing what they're doing every day and giving them directions. At no time should you hand over a check to any consultant, any third party, anyone, and think it's just to pay them a check and then forget it. You still have to be involved. You have to know what they're doing, the ins and outs. You have to have access to the back office. You have to have them give you reports. You have to set specific targets and deadlines, and you have to hold them accountable, and you have to cut people loose fast before they have multiple chances to burn you. Once they burn you once, and once you see how this relationship is going, you have to be strong enough to cut your losses, then trust your gut, and not keep digging a bigger hole.
All right. I mean, that's the vision right there. That's pretty much, because I like how you just all of a sudden something had clicked, and then next thing you know, you just went off. I was like, that's great.
Yeah.
I could talk about that all day, but
Yeah. That's, I mean, our same situation. So, I mean, you asked me the question, I would tell you the same thing. You know, you can't expect someone to recreate your vision and your passion. You can't pay someone to do that. And
right.
We learned that the hard way.
Yeah. Same thing with contractors. I hate to keep relating it to that, but you know, if you have contractor tells you this kitchen is going to be done by, you know, in 2 weeks. 2 weeks comes, and then he's like, "Oh, give me another week." Give him another week, and it's like if you had these patterns of him not performing or not giving you your money's worth or meeting deadlines, and you see that, you got to cut him, because all he's going to do is take every dollar and spread and waste your whole time frame. And some of those same lessons that I've learned in other businesses and real estate are the ones that have to be applied to this. It's the same thing. Got to cut your losses. Yeah.
Well, that's $100,000 learning experience.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
All right, so everybody listening, this is $100,000 pieces of game that he's giving you right now. Right. So, all right, let's go on to number 3. What is your favorite financial book or non-financial book?
The one that's freshest in my mind right now, just because I just now am finishing it up, is Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter by 50 Cent. It's kind of a somewhat of a self-help book. It's kind of, you know, like some of his other stuff is equating business to like his street, you know, upbringing. But he talks about a lot of things mentally, mental mindsets that you have to be in business, and resilience to bounce back. Really good book. I suggest reading it or listening to it on Audible. But right now, I'm gonna say Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter.
All right. And for you, Lonnie?
That's easy. My favorite book is a non-financial book. It's called Flames of Avastin. Avasten. It's about a world where autism is a gift. It's a realm that's ruled by this group of autistic super beings, and it was written by me. So
nice.
that's why it's my favorite.
Nice.
My sons and I, we published 4 books back in 2014, and that was part of what helped him figure out who he was, my oldest son. So I enjoy those books, and we continue. We haven't published anything else in a while, but we continue working on those books, developing characters, because it helps him to evolve. It helps him deal with depression and things like that. So we also have a video series that goes with the book. So my youngest son, he actually brought my oldest son's characters to life. Nice. So it's kind of and I do the writing, and so it's a group thing, a family thing we do. So those are definitely my favorite books.
This is actually really cool that you do a lot of this stuff for your family, with your family, not just for them, but with them.
Yes, it's a good way to keep in touch with them, because, they'll drift away because the communication thing, it just kind of pulls you apart. So, we talk about characters every day. We use the characters to help fight depression. We found a way to make depression an abstract, a physical instead of an abstract. Right. It's easier to fight if it's physical. So we develop characters around that. And when one of my sons get depressed, we get together and we fight that character. Okay. And that helps. So, it's really cool. Like you said, it keeps us together. It keeps the lines of communication open.
Yeah. So I'm actually thinking soon it's going to be a VR version of. You know what? I just thought about it. This would be so cool if people can actually turn books into a VR experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We you can do that. That is possible. But we also we have a Android game that came from actually VR. So it's called
Autistics Run.
Autistics Run, yeah. Okay. So that's on the Android. Was the Google Play Store. So my youngest son, he's a coder. Mm-hmm. His ability that autism left him was the hand-to-eye coordination and a fantastic memory. So he wanted to create games. So I put him in college, and he had to. He went to Drexel, I believe. He went to Drexel for like 3 months. Then Drexel put him out because they wouldn't take his IEP as part of his grades. Right. So I had to go to college, and I got a degree in coding so I could teach him. So together we created the game, Autistics Run.
Yeah, I think both of their stories is on the website, right? Autistics.com.
Autistics.com is my oldest son's website, and that'll link you to another one, the nonprofit Autistics.org. Okay. So, and he's got a lot of things on there. He sells NFTs and things like that.
Yeah, you'll see the NFTs on there.
All right. Well, I'll make sure I put all this in the show notes now for the books and so forth, so everybody can get in touch with you. I'm sure we can probably just share emails a little later.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Final question, which is, what is your favorite dish to make?
My favorite dish to make, I like making I call it a ginger teriyaki salmon. It's pan seared on both sides. It's just the right amount of fresh ginger, not the powdered ginger. Yeah. I get the real ginger, smash it up, mince it, put that on there, get the teriyaki sauce, sear it so the crust is on the outside on both sides, cook the salmon just right. That's been one of my go-to favorites lately. And chili. I like making chili too.
Nice.
Mine probably be lasagna. I like lasagna, and I like using pork to make it instead of the beef.
I know you made lasagna. Yeah. I thought everything he made was in the air fryer.
I can throw that.
So he lied. He lied right
now. A whole meal in the air fryer. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, if he told me he made the lasagna in the air fryer, I would believe it.
Okay.
I can throw down. Mom taught me how to bake. I can throw down with an all butter pound cake, and I don't do too much. I used to sell it back in the day in projects and stuff. Sell the pound cake.
Right.
I remember you did tell me that.
Yeah. So I throw down a bit, but don't do it too much. Like you said, I use the air fryer a lot. So time to cook.
I'll make sure I put your favorite air fryer to show those too.
Yeah.
All right. So it was a pleasure having you both on the show. Where could people find you so they can get in touch with you all, just to kind of see what the VR experience for people who have autistic kids or even they autistic themselves and actually want to fully get immersed and actually really understand the world of autism. So can you just kind of share a little bit on where people can find you?
Yeah, so for the HoloDec, it's right there. If you can see the where it says Art and Lonnie at the HoloDec, that's our Instagram tag. Our website is the same, theholodeck.com. Facebook's the same, theholodeck.com. And email is also the same, VR for virtual reality, VR at theholodeck.com. So we try to make it simple. Everything's at theholodeck.com. And that's the best way for that.
Yeah, and that'll throw you into links on the Autisarians. Autisarian is spelled AUTISARIAN. .com would be my oldest son's website where he has all of his cardboard sculptures that he does of iconic buildings throughout the country. And Autisarian.org is the nonprofit.
And that will link you to his NFTs that we launched.
Yeah, the NFT page. And
so we're, being virtual reality and technology, we're definitely heavy into NFTs and cryptocurrency. I'm heavy into cryptocurrency. Lonnie hasn't gotten to that yet, but he's in NFTs. And so, yeah.
Yeah, we might have to bring you back on for crypto because people keep asking me for it. So,
yeah.
I'm like, cool. I gotta find somebody, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm that's a whole nother topic, but I'm all the way into it.
Yeah. All right, then we definitely got to have you on. I might have to bring you on with like 2 other people because it seems like now the show's coming up there and we're gonna have to have a full talk off on that. Might have to do that live.
Cool.
All right. Yeah. So thank you both for coming on the show again. Everybody, you have Art and Lonnie from the HoloDec, and obviously you have me from the About That Water podcast, where I will do my best to continue to help you build strong financial behaviors. All right, everybody. Y'all be safe. I'm out.
All right. Have a good night.
Peace.